Good day everyone, I'm Joshua Statapel and now I'm going to discuss you about the learning and understanding of marine environment. First, we tackle about marine environment. What is marine environment? The marine environment is a vital source for life on Earth. Marine ecosystems perform a number of key environmental functions. They regulate the climate, prevent erosion, and they contain 90% of the biosphere. Marine environments relate to the morphology of nearshore, offshore, and deep water zone of the oceans. Current classification focus mainly on marine topography, habitats, and fisheries rather than engineering characteristics. What are the major sources of marine pollution and its impact hazard to human, animals, and shipping industry? First is oil spills. Ships are major contributors to ocean pollution, especially when crude oil spills occur. Crude oil lasts 4 years in the ocean and it's difficult to clean up. And this is the example of crude oil spill. Second is ocean mining. Deep sea ocean mining causes pollution and disruption at the lowest level of the ocean. Drilling for substances such as cobalt, zinc, silver, gold, and copper creates harmful sulfide deposits deep in the ocean. This is the example of ocean mining. Third is agriculture and aquaculture runoff. Nitrogen-rich fertilizer and pesticides applied by inland farmers run off into the ocean through rivers after a rainstorm. Also, the aquaculture industry has been known to release uneaten food, antibiotics, and parasites from fish farmers into nearby waters. And this is the example of agriculture and aquaculture runoff. Fourth is industrial waste. Industrial waste is a huge issue when it comes to ocean dumping. Dangerous toxins that accumulate include radioactive waste, arsenic leads, fluoride, cyanide, and many other high contaminants. This waste infects the ocean and sea life, including the ones that we humans eat. And this is the example of industrial waste. Fifth is garbage. Garbage and plastic debris, bags, straw, cutlery, six-pack rings, water bottles, and etc. is a huge threat to the survival of marine fauna. Trash is ingested, causes entanglement, and suffocates our ocean friends. And this is the example of garbage. Effects of marine pollution. Marine pollution has many consequences that directly and indirectly affect marine life, as well as human and shipping industry. Here are some of the most common effects of marine pollution. Harmful to marine animals. Sea animals are commonly victims of ocean pollution. Oil spill, for instance, will ensnare to suffocate marine animals by permitting their gills. When the oil gets in seabirds' feeders, they may not be able to fly or feed their young. Animals that are not killed by crude oil may suffer from cancer, behavioral changes, and become unable to reproduce. Marine animals also mistake small plastic debris for food or become entangled in or strangled by plastic bags and discarded fishing nets. Animals most vulnerable to harm from plastic debris in the ocean include dolphins, fish, sharks, turtle, seabirds, and crabs. A threat to human health. Pollutants in the ocean make their way back to humans. Small organisms ingest toxins and are eaten by larger predators, many of which are seafoods that we eventually eat. When the toxins of contaminated animals get deposited in the human tissues, it can lead long-term health conditions, cancer, and birth defects. Shipping industry. Nevertheless, marine transportation still generates negative impacts on the marine environment, including air pollution, greenhouse gas emission, releases of ballast water containing aquatic invasive species, historical use of antifoulants, oil and chemical spills, dry dock cargo release, garbage, and underwater noise. Explain MARPOL Convention, history when it was adopted, entered into force, and its objectives, including all the regulations of MARPOL Annex 1 to 6. The International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, or MARPOL, is the main international convention covering prevention of pollution of the marine environment by ships from operational or accidental causes. The MARPOL Convention was adopted on November 2, 1973 at IMO. The Protocol of 1978 was adopted in response to a spate of tanker accidents in 1976 to 1977. As the 1973 MARPOL Convention had not yet entered into force, the 1978 MARPOL Protocol absorbed the parent conventions. The combined instrument entered into force on October 2, 1983. In 1997, a protocol was adopted to amend the conventions, and a new Annex 6 was added, which entered into force on May 19, 2005. MARPOL has been updated by amendments through the years. Annex 1, Regulation for Prevention of Pollution by Oil, entered into force October 2, 1983, and contains conditions for discharge of mixtures containing oil and also requirements applicable to the construction and equipment of tankers larger than 150 GRT and other ships larger than 400 GRT. This annex is based on principle that oil and water do not mix and are therefore easily separated. Annex 2, Regulation of Control of Pollution by Noxious Liquid Substances in Bulk, entered into force October 2, 1983, and it contains discharge conditions for categories of noxious substances and requirements applicable to the constructions and equipment of ships carrying such substances. Unlike oil, most chemical or noxious liquids will mix with water and are not easily separated from it. Annex 3, Prevention of Pollution by Harmful Substances Carried by Sea in Packaging Form, entered into force July 1, 1992. Contains general requirements for issuing of detailed standards on packing, marking, labeling, documentation, stowage, quantity limitation, expectation, and notifications. Annex 4, Prevention of Pollution by Sewage from Ships, entered into force September 27, 2003, contains a set of regulations regarding discharge of sewage into the sea from ships, including regulation regarding the ship's equipment, a system for the control of sewage discharge, the provision of port reception facility for sewage, and requirements for survey and certifications. Annex 5, Prevention of Pollution by Garbage from Ships, entered into force December 31, 1988, aims to eliminate and reduce the amount of garbage being dumped into the sea from ships. Its terms include all kinds of food, domestic and operational waste that are likely to be disposed of during the normal operation of the ships. Annex 6, Prevention of Air Pollution from Ships, entered into force May 19, 2005, limits the main air pollutants contained in ship exhaust gas, including sulfur oxide and nitrous oxide, and prohibits deliberate emission of ozone-depleting substances. MARPOL Annex 6 also regulates shipboard incinerations and the emission of volatile organic compounds from tankers.